Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Soldier Speaks English, your channel and the channel focused at South Asia. And today I am starting a new program on the channel in which UK-based journalist Ashraf Khan is going to join us, and we would be focusing these programs and the discussions on South Asia, the issues which are involving South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh in particular. So, first of all, we would like to welcome Ashraf Khan. Ashraf, welcome to the show. Would you like to introduce yourself to our audience, please?
First of all, Adil, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here. I'm actually a journalist from India with almost 10 to 12 years of experience. Started with Bloomberg TV India in business news broadcast, and then went on ahead and was certified as a fact check trainer by Google. I've actually trained many of the journalists. I've done fact checks, and yeah, it's been and then bit of a freelance. So it's been a roller coaster ride, a good of years of experience, almost 10 to 12 years, and now I'm in the UK and being with the NUJ, National Union of Journalists, and International Federation, and colleagues like Adil Raja, Phil Sutcliffe, senior journalists from the UK. They're actually guiding me, and I'm actually preparing myself for international arrivals.
That's really great. Thank you, Ashraf, for this very brief but eloquent introduction. Ashraf is a colleague from the National Union of Journalists, and I thought that we are keeping a focus on South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. So we should start. And since Ashraf is an Indian journalist, so he's got a unique perspective. And we want to explore that perspective as well. Today, in this video, we would like to explore the Karnataka protest in India. We are going to compare everything which is happening in India. We will try to draw parallels with Pakistan as well. We will also discuss Bihar power play because normally, whenever there are elections in Bihar, there are tensions on the border, they say. All right. So we got to discuss it. Then we will be discussing Gujarat cabinet expansion, the pharma regulations would also be discussed. Then there is a very serious environmental issue, Diwali and pollution. It's a happy time, no doubt. There are extended holidays in India, but the impact on the environment needs to be discussed. And then there is a public trust issue between India and Pakistan. We will discuss that as well. So straight away to the brass tacks, I will ask Ashraf to please comment on the Karnataka protest. What do you think? What is the Congress-led protest reveal about India's democracy? I mean, how do you compare it with Pakistan's street movements, the way the crackdown which we've just seen in Moridke? That was obnoxious, and that was really, that was really fascist, in fact, in a way. Dropsite News did a story on that as well, in which they said 1,000 plus. Dropsite News, Rayan Grimm said 1,000 plus people have been killed. So, how do you compare the Karnataka protest, and how do you compare with the street protest in Pakistan, Ashraf?
Adil, Congress being on the back foot since almost a decade now, and Narendra Modi-led BJP government is in the center. They're actually reigning most of the provincial governments, and Karnataka being one of the state that is actually reigned in power by the Congress, and Rahul Gandhi, as the leader of opposition, has with come up with a campaign called Vote Chor Gaddi Chor, basically rigging of votes and rigging of votes in different provinces, in different state elections, including the national elections. So, a faction of people, according to Rahul Gandhi, according to his reports and his sources, he's doing press conferences even now and then. And the Congress is actually using Karnataka as a platform to execute the faction of part of the government that is using the election commission, that is actually using the election part of the national led Modi government, that's actually factionizing a part, a sect of the government of India, who are actually, according to resources and according to Rahul Gandhi, rigging elections in many of the states. Now, Karnataka, being the power spectrum of Congress, they're actually using the body to judicially, to executively, from the executive power, execute some pressure from the state government to the national government, and they try to pull out for transparency and accountability for the election commission, for the enforcement directorate, and other government agencies which are actually influenced by the central government and by the federal government. And Karnataka and the protest that has been going on since a while shows the how Rahul Gandhi is actually countering the electoral irregularities and the kind of government failures, the governance failures, regional demands, which the India bloc and the NDA bloc are actually fighting for a proper position, and how BJP led Modi government is actually trying their best to come into power again and again at the cost of people's sacrifices, at the cost of anything given, and they're trying their best so that Rahul Gandhi or the Indian National Congress are set out to be out of power. And you can compare the same spectrum in Pakistan. On the streets, the kind of political gimmicks have been played. In a way,
No, no, Ashraf. How can you compare the massacre on the street in Pakistan, in especially in Muridke, which you've just seen, with what's happening in India? India has still got a functional majoritarian democracy, but Pakistan even does not have
yeah,
that. So how can
yeah.
you
Massacre,
compare?
I wouldn't say massacre. I would be comparing that as a strong word. Massacre, I wouldn't say it would be compared, but I would rather
Have,
say the functionaries.
yeah, please go
Yes,
on.
yes, Adil, you're saying something.
Yeah,
I
well,
would rather
actually,
say
I
not the
think
massacre. Massacre is actually a very aggressive part of the play that has been going on in Pakistan, and what's happened in Muridke has not been justified at any cost.
yeah.
In that way, India is a proper functioning, but under the undercurrent, under the governance line, the way the elections are rigged, the way vote chor gadi chor campaign has been pulled out by by the Indian National Congress or by Rahul Gandhi, is actually trying to convey a strong message that there is some sort of compromise when it comes to electoral governance, when it comes to democracy. Yes, massacre in the Muridke that's happened cannot be justified or cannot be explained at the same peripheral or the same stanza that I'm trying to convey. That's a part of the system that has been diseased to Pakistan since long. I mean, like, Pakistan has been suffering from some such massacres that's been happening, and it's not justified at any cost. Yes.
All right. So moving on to, of course, it cannot be simply. There is no comparison. India, at the end of the day, is a functional majoritarian democracy, and they've got their issues. Fine, but I talk to my friends, Ashraf, off the cuff. They tell me, especially the Indians in Dubai and the power lobby and the people with money, they say, well, Congress is coming back. Once I talk to people on ground, the journalists on ground, they say there's no chance of Congress coming back into power in the next elections. What do you think are the chances of Congress coming back into power? In very just you're give me a summary of it in 1 minute, please.
In a way, I would rather say, Adil, that Congress is actually not on the ground understanding the political strategies or the structural politics infrastructure of the Bharatiya Janata Party that is actually led by Prime Minister Modi or Amit Shah. These, when I'm mentioning Amit Shah, the Home Minister of India, and the Prime Minister of India, these are prominent figures where electro the whole electoral democracy and the power is centralized and moves around these prominent figures. Now, what Congress is still thinking, Congress feels like, it's been the oldest party, the party that actually gave birth to Indian democracy, and it was a party that came out of the revolution. Congress is not, for some reason, able to monetize the prominent figures of the party since the independence, like Mahatma Gandhi, like Indira Gandhi, strong figures, right? Rajiv Gandhi, who was the prime minister. Rahul Gandhi, for some reason, has been puppetized by the Bharatiya Janata Party and has not been, for some reason, not seen as a mature leader who could actually take Congress against to power, again to the prime ministership, again to Delhi, and this is the
All
main
right,
reason.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this one. Yeah, you're saying that Rahul Gandhi's leadership, he's just a Napo kid. Basically, that's what you're trying to say. All
Exactly,
right. So he's a
exactly.
Napo kid. All right, fine. So then coming over to the Bihar power play. Now, is Tejashvi Yadev emerging as a credible challenger? And what parallels exist with Pakistan's provincial politics, where there are no, frankly and honestly, there are no parallels. But do you think that Tejashvi Yadev is emerging as a serious, credible challenger in the Bihar politics and the way things are emerging? What do you think about it?
I won't say there are parallels between Pakistan and India when it comes to regional politics or politics like RJD or Rashtriya Janata Dal or Lal Prasad Yadav or his son Tejasvi Yadav, because Pakistan's uh, politics when it comes to provinces goes into Pathans and Baloch and Sindhis, and these are the different sects. But when
Punjabis, yeah, Punjabis.
Punjabis. And when it comes to India, it's not like that. India is more into caste census. In India is more into caste creed. India is more into, when it comes to regional politics, the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas, the Shudras, the minority. Muslims are more into minorities. There's a different definition. You don't see that sect that comes to India. You won't see Punjabis or UP or Bhaiyas or Tamils or Malayalis or Goanese or Gujaratis. No, there's no such thing like that. That is played actually in Indian politics. It's more a sect of Brahmanism. You'll find there, the Shudrism. You'll find there. You'll find Muslim minority is always in question. Muslim versus Hindu is in question. The Brahmin should be in the power. That's in question. Again, coming back to Tejasvi Yadav, who comes from the OBC and is actually a Yadav. Tejasvi Yadav, for some reason, is actually a strong contender this time. Why? Because there's a new party and a new person who's emerged from Bihar politics. His name is PK. He's actually called as PK, the PK of. There was a movie recently in Amir Khan
Yeah,
that
Amir
was
Khan's
named.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
movie name of
Pakistanis
the
know
movie
that
was
movie PK. That's why I
PK.
thought Amir Khan is coming into politics.
No, I admire if he comes. He might join the Indian National Congress, but I
Really?
don't think so.
Yeah,
PK Prashant Kishore
yeah.
from Jansuraj, a party in Bihar, is actually contending on a different side, which is actually competing against the Bharatiya Janata Party, and the Bharatiya Janata Party vote banks would be eaten up by PK. That's actually giving an edge to RJD and Tejasvi Yadav. Given a chance to him, he was deputy chief minister for a while, for a few months. So people have actually tasted him, how exactly if he comes back to power, he would sound and taste like. Now,
Hmm.
Rahul Gandhi was very strong again, coming back to the vote chor, Gaddi chor campaign. He was
Hmm.
there. He came with this strong tides in Bihar, but for some reason, last 15 days, he left all of a sudden, and he wasn't fine nowhere there. But RJD and Tejasvi Yadav has taken a strong stand. I think it might be a political strategy, because if Rahul Gandhi stays for long too much there, he might end up eating marginal votes of RJD, and that would damage RJD. That's the reason I think now the match is between RJD versus PK and BJP. And there's good chances that people don't want Nitish Kumar, the former chief minister of Bihar, who's actually failed on every platform and every peripheral, and the youngsters who are actually struggling to find jobs, opportunities, and the casteism, the caste card always played amongst the Biharis. The Biharis now, actually, the Bihari youth is looking for jobs, development, health infrastructure, and PK is a strong contender. When you listen to him, Adil, you find a strong guy standing on a platform. He says, I don't want Biharis to go anymore in provinces like Gujarat, Maharashtra for jobs. He wants jobs to come into Maharashtra. He wants jobs to come into Bihar from Maharashtra and Gujarat and Tamil Nadu. His vision is he wants people from Gujarat, Maharashtra to come and work in Bihar. So
All
PK
right. So
has given a different
Ashraf,
definition.
Ashraf, you definitely sound like a PK fan there. Yeah, I get that.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm not a
All
PK fan. I know him in person. Actually, I've left him a message on Twitter late, and then he responded, and then we had
right.
our friendship on that base.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. So it does mean that. Yeah. Yeah. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, inside Indian politics for you. And I think knowing, the fear of not knowing creates a lot of problems. And especially if it would have been somebody else other than Ashraf Khan sitting here, well, the people in Pakistan might have been saying that, well, you can't keep everyone happy, but they might have been saying, I don't know why this gentleman is here, but he's trying to explain you the complexities and of democracy and how it actually works. Now, moving forward to another, the issue of the Gujarat cabinet expansion, which we are going to discuss. In Pakistan, if you got a coalition government, or like in Pakistan these days, there is a government which have, as per the Commonwealth report, which was suppressed, that it has been formed because of election rigging process. So to keep the alliance happy, everyone happy, you have to have a very huge government, big governments, bring in a lot of people and give them special protections, all give them the perks and privileges, which is all paying out of the public kitty, of course. So uh, once you look at Prime Minister Modi's home state, Gujarat, why did BJP abandon its minimum government slogan over there? I mean, we've seen this in Pakistan. There are, and the similar patronage politics is visible in Pakistan's provincial setups, of course. But we thought that BJP has given this minimum government slogan. Why have they abandoned it in Gujarat?
Now, actually, Adil, to be honest, I'm from Gujarat. I'm a Gujarati Muslim. It's my
All
home
right,
state.
all right,
And
that's
being there 30, 35, 36 years of age, and I've seen the maximum governance of Modi since I have been mature and I've started understanding politics and governance. I've seen the BJP flag in my state, in my province, all the way long, right?
good.
Minimum government, maximum governance. This was once a nara, of the Modi government in the early days. Now they're going towards maximum government and minimum governance. Maybe we don't know,
Hmm.
but Prime Minister Modi was the chief minister of Gujarat when he was not a prime minister, and the current government is actually trying to follow his footsteps. So
Hmm.
they have expanded the government. Harsh Sanghvi, who was actually the Home Minister of Gujarat, has been handed over as a deputy chief minister
Hmm.
of Gujarat and has given many portfolios other than being the deputy chief minister. And
Hmm.
I have being reporting, being doing journalism from Gujarat. I actually tend to happen to know all these people. I've worked there with the police system, with the governance, with the ministers, and how actually the power is executed there. So the kind of government the central has actually forced in Gujarat is actually trying to change the definition and tactics of Patidar movement that happened before. The Patel movements. That's the reason Harsh Sanghvi, who's actually a favorite of Amit Shah, who's the Home Minister of India, he comes in his favorites and is considered as a strong contender leader from Jain category, is actually given deputy chief ministership with different portfolios, but not the chief ministership because they want one Patel to be a chief minister as a rubber stamp for the Gujarat for every time because it was Anandiben Patel first and it's Bhupendra Patel now. So a Patel is a compulsion to be the chief minister because if they don't, then the Patel, that's a supreme community in the Gujarat, might again agitate and come up with Patidar and revolutionary moments that we need to have a change. There's a reason he's the deputy chief ministers, and different portfolios have been changed. They have shuffled the whole government. Seems like they want everyone to get a chance, every MLA to become a minister and taste the power, and maybe the community around
Yeah.
actually feel like, okay, now we've got our guy who's actually having a representation. But it's the same government, foil in a different cover wrap. So you actually have the same taste of the same chocolate, but a different cover wrap, I would say.
So like that, there is no difference between India and Pakistan and the provincial politics and the state politics. You just want to keep everyone happy and you want to give them whatever they want. So no difference there. So, but moving on to very quickly, Ashraf, about the pharma regulation issues. How does India's crackdown on the pharma industry reflect governance priorities? And what lessons could Pakistan learn from it, where the pharma industry, like many other industries, are being controlled by the military establishment or the retired generals? I know them, but there are other players as well. But no, I mean, India is a huge giant, and even the US, irrespective of the tariffs, there are no tariffs by even President Trump on the pharma sector. But this pharma regulation drive which is going on, and the crackdown which is going on, what do you have to say on that quickly, please?
I would say is a major difference between India and Pakistan when it comes to pharmaceutical or pharma corporate sector or pharmaceutical industry. Most of
Hmm.
the part has been in Pakistan, various is controlled by the military regime, the establishment that controls it, and
Hmm.
in India, it's more of the corporate sector that actually controls it. So there's a
Hmm.
great difference there. But having said that, the both the establishment and the corporate sector actually act upon a corporate protocol to handle the health sector and the pharmaceutical sectors. Now there's a
Hmm.
major crackdown on this because in India nowadays on the local levels there's actually mid-sectoral, or I would say medium enterprise actors being coming up in pharmaceuticals, and there is actually first copy and second copy of major pharma companies, industrial sectors are being seen, which are actually first copy and second copy that's not properly patented or legal with intellectual property rights. There's a reason the government is cracking down on these companies, and pharma is something that's need to be controlled very critically after COVID-19 in particular. In
Hmm.
after COVID-19, the farmers are in essence are very important, and that's the reason the partnership between the public stakeholding and the private stakeholding is a major concern, because after COVID-19, health is a major issue which it needs to be regulated and controlled. And I think it's very critical to see that both India and Pakistan, instead of having establishment stakeholder players or private stakeholder players from the corporate companies in India, still have problems when it comes to regulation and patients handling and the way they're doing it. So there's a major
But
crackdown that's trying to bring.
at least in India, there is a will to regulate this and facilitate the corporates and the multinational corporations as well, so that jobs can be brought in. But from
There is an
Pakistan,
infrastructure at place. Yes, there is
yeah, yeah.
infrastructure.
In Pakistan, the MNCs are just packing up their business and they're leaving. We've seen Procter and Gamble, we've seen ICI, we've seen multiple. We've seen Microsoft. They're closing down their businesses because there are serious regulatory issues there. So yeah, of course, in that way, we need to learn a lesson from across the border, I believe. So. Ashraf, about this Diwali, there's a festive occasion. We don't want to spoil it. People
Yes,
are on
yes.
holidays, they're enjoying themselves, but how it is directly related to pollution as well. So how is environmental policy becoming political capital? Can Pakistan cities draw parallels in the pollution crisis? Because Lahore was totally smogged last winter. We're going to see what's going to happen this time around. It is yet to the winter is yet to come, but how is, again, the question is, this environmental policy becoming political capital?
Environment is a big question, Adil, I'll tell you. Because Lahore is not that far away from Delhi,
Yeah,
and
that's
Islamabad
right.
is not that far away from Delhi. And
Yeah.
Delhi's pollution is a major concern. The oxygen levels are falling down, and
Mhm.
it's quite impossible to breathe a clear air, a clear oxygen in Delhi.
Mhm.
To be
Mhm.
honest, recently I was in India and actually visited Delhi and had a conversation on the airport about the
Mhm.
Delhi pollution levels, and the people are really concerned that you bring Arvind Kejriwal, you bring Aam Aadmi Party, you bring Bharatiya Janata Party, you bring Congress, nothing is changing in Delhi. They can't see the clear sky, they can't breathe the clear air. And now this
Mhm.
actually importing border states as well. Uh,
Mhm.
the intense clouds of pollution are actually migrating up to Lahore and Islamabad, and
Uh,
the oxygen levels are falling in these major cities, and that's the
mhm.
reason Diwali is a festive occasion for India. It's a big occasion for India. It's full of lights and colors, but for some reason, when it comes to pollution, we are actually adding up to the burden by cracking up, by burning crackers and by bursting crackers and raising the pollution levels. So
Mhm.
it's a major concern for the government of India to come out of with some major sort of regulations and rules and protocols so that people get control when it comes to Diwali or most of the Hindu celebrated festivals in India. Like, to be
mm,
honest, Prime Minister Modi's efforts have actually paid somewhere when it comes to Ganesh Chaturthi, where they're not dumping the idols anymore into the sea or natural water bodies, but they are
mm,
creating infrastructure for artificial water bodies, and they are
mm,
dumping the idols there, or they are putting the idols in the water and celebrating the festive occasions.
mm,
Like in Holi, they're not using any more chemical colors, but actually using, colors made up with different, I would say, clay. That's green, that's red, that's a kind of festive occasion that's more of powderish, but not chemical anymore that damages your skin, or not
mm,
using any plaster of Paris idols or POP, made idols to dump. Because if you dump a POP body in the natural water body like a river or sea, it doesn't dissolve. The water doesn't eat it. It actually ends up coming to your body again in the form of crystal stones that eventually cause you kidney stones. And there's a reason Prime Minister Modi's efforts are actually paying up in a way. People are trying to understand a different perspective of Hindu religion, but with wealth, with celebrity, with colors. But when it comes to Diwali, India is actually on the verge of consuming more pollution rather than the happiness around it, because it's actually impacting the oxygen levels of different major cities, like most of the north cities, I would say, because Diwali is actually a major festival of the north, way up in Delhi, in the UP, Uttar Pradesh, in the Maharashtra, even on the west side,
mm,
Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar
mm.
Pradesh, Bihar, all these states. So yes, it's impacting, and there's a reason the pollution that has been created here is also in a while shifting to neighbor countries around, like Pakistan, the cities on the borders like
Yeah.
Lahore,
Mm,
Islamabad, is
mm,
actually impacting
mm,
their environmental levels as well. Even the water, I would say, if there's major rainfalls, you're seeing floods in Pakistan.
mm,
So
mm.
there's a major need of regulation on environment when it comes to water levels, rivers, even the environment when it comes to pollution.
So pollution crisis is quite real, and it affects both India and Pakistan. You cannot choose your neighbors, as the saying goes. So you have to coexist, and if you have to coexist, then definitely pollution is a big issue, and Diwali and pollution is becoming a political capital in a way. Definitely, like you said about Ganesh Puja, yeah, that it is a contentious topic. But if Prime Minister Modi is trying to, rectify that. I don't know how the overall the cultural shock is going to impact his politics or the BJP politics. We'll discuss it at some other time. But we have the, is it fair to say that environmental policy is now a political capital? Is it fair to say yes or no?
Yes, I think environmental policy is actually a capital, kind of capital, we can say that. But I would rather add that Prime Minister Modi is trying his best to give it a proper infrastructure when it comes to governance, policy making, when it comes to creating an infrastructure or conveying a message to the public. But I think so, you need to prepare a proper infrastructure from the ground base. That's more important. So there's
All right.
no proper construction of a policy making from the ground base, and that's the reason you can't see a proper execution coming in place, and that's the reason it's more of a capital game now.
All right, all right. So finally, in this episode, we are going to discuss the public trust issue. Across India and Pakistan, Ashraf, is branding, political branding overtaking real reform? This is the first public trust issue on your own respective politicians in India and Pakistan. In Pakistan, it is the military establishment which is running the government, and the people don't trust the military establishment or the regime they have brought in. But in India, they've elected their government, so there is a political trust issue. There is political branding is overtaking real reform. Like nationalism is being sold to shift focus. Ultra nationalism is being sold to shift focus from real issues which affect the public. from for example, in corruption, which is rampant in both India and Pakistan. And because of this public trust issues, the people of India and Pakistan have got a trust deficit amongst themselves as well. So again, is the political branding overtaking real reform, Ashraf?
Yes, I would really agree with that, Adil. Political branding is a big thing. Since the
Hmm,
social media, since artificial intelligence, since things have opened up online, since there are no borders for information to portray, since there are no borders for information to go from India to Pakistan or
hmm,
Pakistan to India or even UK. You
hmm,
know, a person sitting in the United Kingdom, United States, Europe, Pakistan, India can see actually information for everything around the globe when it comes to Instagram, Reels, Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok or anything.
hmm,
And that's the reason political branding is actually a thing now. Initial, if you see 50 years, if you go back, or the times of Indira Gandhi, the times of Margaret Thatcher, the times of Gandhi's, reforms were the thing, policies were the things, reforms were actually people used to look up to. Okay, we have a budget now, we have a railway budget now, we have a union budget now. Okay, what are they offering? Are things going expensive? Are things going to go cheap? What exactly is going to happen? Railway budget was a different thing, union budget was a different thing in India, but now it's all one because it's a more of branding, so when it comes to Prime Minister Modi, when it comes to BJP, when it's come to Nawaz Sharif, or when it comes to the minister sitting there in Pakistan, it's more of a PML and the parties out there. It's more of branding now. People, I would rather say, political branding is almost like corporate now. You see a corporate face of political branding, and people look up to see, okay, who's defining what, how the branding is looking like. Is it how the tattoos of the parties are looking like? How are the graphics? How is the image? How are the emojis? The definition has gone there rather than the
Isn't it
reforms.
an oxymoron? Isn't it an oxymoron that both in India and Pakistan, you are mourning the, your own soldiers, but you're celebrating who have been killed, but you're celebrating, casualties across the border, and in that way, ultra nationalism or patriotism is being sold to shift focus from the real issues in both India and Pakistan, which have come from the same kind of culture. That is my actual question, that
Ultra nationalism, actually they're trying to sell nationalism to the people by creating up events, by creating things that actually attract your attention, attract people's attention, and you feel more of ultra nationalist by yourself, and you don't get attentive to the real ground issues, to the real reformical ground issues that are on the ground when it comes to job, employment, health, opportunities to work, hospitals,
hmm,
logistics, transportation. These are the basic questions. I would rather
so,
say in
Ashok,
India,
we are going to definitely carry on with it because today's time we've already overrun by 3 minutes. So we have already, discussed and we've agreed that there is a public trust issue, and the political branding is overtaking real reform both in India and Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, in part two, we are going to discuss the Afghanistan diplomacy. In fact, in the next episode, we will going to discuss the Afghanistan diplomacy. We'll discuss the far right freedom, far right politics in India and in Pakistan as well. The media freedom will also be discussed. There is an issue in both the countries. The global perception of the region, India and Pakistan separately, they're different. All right, fine. But under the President Trump's tariff regime and the way they sees us being treated in the Western world, we need to discuss the global perception of our region and the countries in our region. Then the economic direction of India is leading in the region, of course. But after the trade and tariff war and the way China is impacting in the region, what is going to be the future? And then the regional cooperation needs to be discussed, and that will be in the second episode. And please do share and do give us your comments about the topics you want us to discuss. We'll be covering the latest current affairs events quite regularly in our programs, but at the same time, I would request you to please, like and subscribe and press the bell icon to Soldier Speaks English, and give us your feedback. Definitely, if you want us to go on, I'm sure you've got your own ideas, but be careful in expressing those, and we will listen to you surely. Ashraf, where can the audience find you on the socials? Would you please let them know?
Thanks for, first of all, I really appreciate, I'm very thankful, Adil, for having me here. I had a really good time on different important and crucial conversations regarding the governance and policy making of both India and Pakistan, both the countries as a whole. Soldier Speak is a very large, big, a universal platform, and I'm really, really thankful, and I really feel great to be part of this. You can, I would really urge people who are listening, and I've seen it, million followers and listeners and watchers around the globe for Adil Raja and Soldier Speaks. I would really appreciate if you could catch me up and even follow me up at ASH2327974. This goes on Facebook, this goes on Instagram, this goes on Twitter. So would
Please,
really
please
be
get.
thankful to see people to come and watch and streamline me as well on different platforms on Instagram, Facebook, and other things. Yes,
Definitely, I'll request you all to please follow Ashraf Khan, and in the description, I'm going to put these his socials on
it's
there.
again at the rate ASH2327974.
Yeah, and it is in the description as well. And you're going to see a lot more of us because I don't know about you, but I've enjoyed this conversation. I wanted to continue. All right. So I don't know, Ashraf, about you, but I wanted to continue, and
Thanks,
I'm
Adil,
sure
for
you.
having me. It was really nice talking to you. Your knowledge and your questions are in depth, and
Thank you.
literally navigate the person you're actually asking questions to all the
Thank you.
important issues the listeners are actually concerned with.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashraf. Ladies and gentlemen, see you very soon. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.